Good evening. Tonight, with very little preparation, in fact, the camera hasn't quite framed properly either, but with very little preparation and on short notice, to tell you as briefly as I can why exactly we should vote for Donald Trump and not this wonderful, brilliant lady, if you don't mind my sarcasm, Rodham Clinton, experienced at being the First Lady of Arkansas, future trader, the First Lady of the United States, Senator for New York, and Secretary of State for the United States. Why exactly vote for this celebrity character, Donald J. Trump, instead of this experienced person with years in government? And really, the question answers itself. Hillary is rightfully known as Crooked Hillary. She has been receiving money from suspect sources since she was First Lady of Arkansas. She has been involved in international fiascos as Secretary of State, and she has just been excused from committing an obvious felony by misappropriating state secrets, classified, secret, and top secret information onto her private hard drive when she was Secretary of State. It seems that the FBI has decided, even though she is guilty of sin, that because she's Hillary. In contrast, we have Donald J. Trump, a highly successful entrepreneur, reality show host, developer, author. Of course, his books were all ghostwritten, but still, they sold. We have somebody with a lot of experience in the private sector and a lot of success, who's a internationally renowned personality, but no experience whatever in government. For him. And then again, the question answers itself. Coming from outside of the Washington cabal, as a private citizen who has had to pay protection money to the likes of Hillary Clinton, we see a man who speaks with simple common sense. He proposes a temporary moratorium on immigrants from the Middle East, from countries involved in terrorism, from predominantly Islamic countries, because he sees it for what it is. This is immigrants from those countries can and have committed acts of terrorism, and he was. What is the reaction from Hillary, from Bernie Sanders, from even fellow Republicans? Shock, horror, jackbooted thuggery, and and underhanded skullduggery. And what is the big threat? He won't continue to import without qualifications and without adequate screening immigrants from Islamic countries who have been in, where there's a huge presence of terrorism. This is a man who sees things from the point of view of not of the politicians, not of Beltway commentators, but of his fellow Americans whom he wishes to protect. And we see who's on their side. I don't speak for myself. As an American, well, I left. I'm an expatriate. I saw what was coming with Obama, and I decided it was time to get me and mine out. I wish I could say that I was merely panicking, but it has gotten extremely bad and it's getting worse. The Middle East was relatively stable in 2009. It has been thrown completely out of kilter. Administration, and especially by Hillary Clinton with her unqualified support for the Arab Spring, which has turned into an Arab Winter, pushing the partition of Jerusalem on an unwilling Israel as a condition of peace, which has led not to peace but to a permanent end to the Oslo Accord. We've seen it with the murder of American diplomats and Marines in Libya by the very people that the Arab Spring supposedly was going to help, and after having championed the Libyan revolution with American treasure and blood and honor, turned on us. They're turning on us in Iran. They're turning on us in, well, I wouldn't say turning on us in Iran. They've always been our enemies. Turning on us in Egypt, in Syria, and even Israelis are no longer as friendly to the United States as they once were. Realize that this is an administration which will cause them harm, and perhaps even means them harm. A policy that can be sustained, nor a domestic policy that can be sustained. A radical change is needed, and what is needed is for America to put its own interests first, rather than try to globe in bouts of misguided do-gooderism that ends up in people dying. Therefore, I am going to be voting this year in the general election in the United States, and I am going to be voting for Donald J. Trump. Everybody else does the same. Now, Nate with the weather.
Good evening. Now, the weather. Jerusalem tomorrow is okay. So tomorrow, Jerusalem, partly cloudy, 27.4 centigrade, 84 Fahrenheit. And then in Tel Aviv, tomorrow, 27.5 centigrade, 2 Fahrenheit. And Haifa, is 27.8 centigrade, 93 Fahrenheit. Well, good evening.